The US imports over $477 billion from Canada each year. But instead of building on that, Trump's tariff war is shaking American industries. He says trade talks with Canada aren't a priority. Translation: no new deals, just more tariffs. And it's not Canada paying, it's Americans. Before Trump, US-Canada trade neared $700 billion. But America First brought tariffs on steel, aluminum, and timber, turning an ally into a target. Now the US lumber industry is in crisis. Tariffs on Canadian softwood lumber are slamming companies like Backfire, whose profits dropped 50% this year. Why? Because 26% of US softwood lumber comes from Canada. Tariffs spike costs, and there's no good alternative. American construction is taking the hit. Higher lumber prices mean pricier houses, and a worse housing crunch. Importing from elsewhere doesn't help. Other countries' wood is pricier or lower quality, and shipping costs make it worse. The result: cheaper materials out, costs up, risk everywhere. Trump's 25% lumber tariff, possibly going to 40%, is sending shockwaves through construction. Vehiz's profits fell from $173 million to $87 million in one quarter. That's fewer jobs and stalled projects. New home sales dropped 15% this year, the worst in 3 years. Inventory is the highest since the 2007 crash. With high interest rates and rising lumber costs, families are priced out. It's not just a slowdown, it's a warning sign. Meanwhile, Canada has leverage, over $1 trillion invested in US assets through pension funds. That's serious negotiating power. Quick break. If you value stories like this, hit like, subscribe to the Untold Compass, and turn on notifications. Back to it. Canada's investments give it real influence, and they're ready to use it. Trump also just cut a deal with the EU, 15% tariffs on EU goods in exchange for $600 billion in investments and big purchases of American LNG and defense gear. But Canada, no deal. Just an August 1st deadline. Miss it, and baseline tariffs kick in automatically. And Canada's deep ties, 85% of its cars, 62% of America's oil, are becoming bargaining chips. Factories in Windsor already laid off workers. Auto prices could spike $4,000, $6,000 per car if tariffs hit. Everyday products, food, fuel, paper, all threatened. Inflation could add $1,800 to $2,400 in annual costs per US household. Canadians face similar pain. Canada's trying to diversify fast. Exports to Germany and Japan are rising. But they can't replace the US overnight. Trump says America's been taken advantage of and it's time to collect. No deal by August 1st. Tariffs land. No exceptions. Meanwhile, US farmers are already feeling it. In July, Mexico quietly chose Canada over the US for a 7-year, $3.2 billion dairy deal, not because of price, but because Canada's milk is hormone-free and fully traceable. American milk, cheaper, but fails Mexico's new ethical standards. Over 6,000 US dairy farms shut down in 3 years. Those left are losing money fast. One Iowa farmer says they dump 8,000 gallons of milk weekly since losing Mexico. Big corporations survive. Family farms collapse. Beyond milk, US beef is banned in the EU. GMO grains rejected in Asia. EV batteries without traceability lose green incentives. The world demands ethical production, and America's falling behind. Canada doesn't need flashy ads. They lead with ethics, traceability, production controls, and farmer protections. Over 5,000 small farms survive, because they're trusted. A viral sign in Ontario summed it up: a cow isn't a machine, she's a friend of the land. America can still pivot, but it takes rebuilding trust, not just subsidies. So next time you hear tariffs, remember, it's your grocery bill, your home price, your future. If this opened your eyes, hit like, share, and drop a comment. Subscribe to the Untold Compass for stories mainstream media won't tell.